Okay, so today we're actually not playing a game, we're actually reviewing Bleank. It's kind of like artistic software, but it lets you have extremely large canvases without too much lag or whatnot. Plus, it also allows you to have quite a bit of adjustment to your brushes and stuff like that. It's kind of a different kind of app. It's not trying to mimic painting, it's actually trying to be more digital. Like so. You know, we have different brushes. We have something like a dotted line. You can see the quicker I go, the quicker it goes around. We have something like this, and you can see this is kind of very, if you go slow, it's that color. If you go quickly, it's the other color. If we go through, there's even more stuff here. You know, there's this crepe. And again, it goes faster, it goes to one color, it also becomes bigger. So it's very, very different. You can, of course, change the color to whatever you'd like for all the different points. You know, that's, of course, completely possible. You know, you can even bring it down to get rid of some of them. You know, and then it changes what the brush does. You also have, this is, you know, the first color. We have color 2, the opacity. You know, if you want two colors, you don't have to have two colors if you don't want to. How it blends stuff, you know. So there's a lot of options in here. We also have, of course, an eraser. You know, fairly common. And this is... Oh, okay, these are just some more... This is an organic pen. This is something that's been added more recently, I believe, because I don't remember seeing this last time I tested it. So it can let you do some very, very nifty stuff, and we can actually go and choose the colors a couple different ways if we want to, basically, but we're going to go here. I think we're going to go and choose a color this way. So we'll go here. We can even use this to pick a color, and you can see it's all 3D accelerated. So what that means is that you're not really going to have to worry too much about performance, because most 3D cards are going to be able to 3D accelerate pretty quickly. Like I think right now is a control. We can also just create new files. We can save as. I think right now it only saves. I think they're adding JPEG support at the moment. You can get rid of the user interface. We also have a controller editor, and this is basically just how it gives you fine control over how the brushes are working. You don't have to use it, but you can get some really nifty abilities with the different brushes. You know, adding random movement to the brush, smoothing it out, all that type of stuff. Because all the brushes are math oriented, you know, you can do quite a bit of stuff to it. You can control the flow of the brush, of course, that's fairly standard. You can create your own brushes, of course. You can hit the place and we'll just kind of get an idea what the brush is, you know. You know, so what this is basically very much lets you kind of customize, and you know, zooming is very, I like it. It's very nice. It's all 3D accelerated, and it tends to be very quick. So you can kind of do some very neat stuff. You know, so which you can't normally do with a standard paint program. Just because of the way the brushes work. So, you know, so you can get some really nifty effects. You know, it depends what you're going for. Maybe you don't like this type of painting program, or you want some more traditional, then you're going to want to look at something like ArcRage or Corel Painter or something along those lines. You know, they're all good programs too, but they really have different purposes. You know, we can, of course, adjust the shape. We can make it small. You know, so all this stuff's possible. Opacity, you know, how visible it is, the rotation of the brush, you know, so all that stuff's possible. It also does work with tablets, you know, that's in there too. You know, so you can do some really nifty stuff with this. You know, So if you're an artist, you know, I think it's worthwhile giving it a try. Yes, it's a bit pricey, but I think you can do some stuff with this that you can't do with other programs, just because they're trying to mimic regular painting. And the fact that these devs do seem to have they're constantly updating it. It's not like they're planning to ban the program. They've been working on it for quite a while now, for a few years, I believe. And so it's just recently got on the Steam, but the program's been out there in the wild. There's no DRM except what Steam has. You know, so keep that in mind too if you're worried about what the DRM is. So, you know, you can really do some nifty stuff with this. You know, especially when you get in some of the really interesting brushes like this, you know, so you can really customize what you want the brushes to be doing. And it does give you a visual representation right away of what it's going to be like. You know, so we can go something like that, and we can blend it into, say, black. And so then you can get a brush, something like this. We'll, you know. So you can do an awful lot of stuff here. Now, yes, you can mimic some of this in Photoshop, but I don't think Photoshop has quite the performance that this program has. You know, it's just very, very, very quick. I've never seen any stutters or anything in this program, no matter how big of canvas I've been working on. You know, so there's also layer manager, so if you want additional layers, that capability's there too. And of course the capability to turn on and off layers is also there as well. Brush manager, same thing again. That's just this little drop down thing that I had here. Again, if you have any more questions, like, I'm not going to go too much in this. I want just people to get an idea of what's in the program. You know, what can they do? You know, you can switch to hue, saturation, you know, how much, you know, shape of the brushes, the opacity, you know, so you can do all, you know, there's a lot you can do. Now, whether it's going to be beneficial for you, well, it depends on what you're doing. You know, it's just very different. It's not going the same route as mimicking a paint program. It's actually its own type of program. You know, that using stuff that you simply wouldn't be able to get normally, you know, so you wouldn't necessarily easily be able to mimic this stuff in the real world, you know, with a real paintbrush and whatnot. So, you know, that's, I guess, the biggest reason why I like it, is that it's just really lets you do some really, really interesting stuff, you know, brush-wise, and, like, you know, it does give you quite a bit, if you want to delve into it, quite a bit of the ability to really play around with the brushes, with the controllers. Controllers, of course, with the C button, you know, so right now it's basically using cubic on this for doing it, the amount of power applied and the pressure, and, you know, you can add extra stuff to here, like you can go and pop this in as well. I believe this links up, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and then the amount of power. Oh, we may have to drop that. No. Anyway, there is ability to adjust it. They've changed it a little bit, so I'm not sure how to adjust the controllers anymore. And color. And again, you can have stuff applying to just specific, if we trash can that, you know, so you can go the amount of pressure and adjust the saturation by power, I believe. There we go. Now saturation will basically be adjusted by I guess the amount of pressure on the tablet. Since we're not using a tablet, it's not applying here. But you see, you can do quite a bit with this, especially with all the options, and they keep adding more to it. Yeah, okay, so I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching. Not Let's Play, I guess, but our little mini run through Bleank. Thank you very much.